Andrew in here. Back with some more Gabriel night this morning. We started last week, the week before. I think it was last week. Let's load her up. Good morning, Calvin is one. Welcome to the channel. You're doing fine. Why does that not look proper? I don't think we would have left ourselves looking like that, would we? In this dark area. Exit to map. Let's exit to the map. That's the church, isn't it? Yeah. Right, what were we doing? My cat in the chat isn't active. Let me just come out for a second. There, right. We're up and running again. Oh, why have I got no game screen up? Suddenly. What's going on today? Why is nothing working today? Hold on a second. Let me just reset my capture card. See if that gets things going. Wait for my screens to flicker back into life. Eventually. Okay, well the game crashed and I still don't have anything on the screen. There we go. We got stuff on the screen. Right, let's load the game back up. Well, that was a good start, wasn't it? There we go. That's better. Alright. Okay. So what we're doing, so much for Southern hospitality. Madam Kazanu is a nut. She'll trust Willie Walker but won't let a nice young man like me in her house. I'll need a totally new approach to get her to trust me enough to let me in. How can I get her to trust me? That I don't know. I wonder if I go back and talk to the detective. Why are you playing drums out here?
Hey.
The drummer looks at Gabriel but says nothing in return.
Okay, let's head on in.
Hey, you're lucky I don't throw you in jail for taking that file. Frank's about had kittens.
Who, me?
Yeah. I know I can't prove it, but just don't ask me for any more files. That's all I've got to say.
Wouldn't dream of it.
Maybe we need to put the file back.
Can I ask you about some stuff?
You're the writer. Ask away.
She's not there.
Does the name Ogun Badagri mean anything to you?
Say what?
Ogun Badagri. It's a voodoo loa.
Speak English or shut up, Knight.
Sorry, didn't mean to confuse you. Guess I'll take that as a no.
Sounds like it.
What can you tell me about St. John's Eve?
That's coming up, isn't it? We get some occasional weirdness in the quarter, but nothing much. Used to have a lot of strange things happen, though, or so I hear.
This morning's stream's not going to be anywhere near as long as usual for Wednesday, just because we're trying to build this catio for Baron and Luna, and this morning is my last day off, and it's the only day we've actually had some sun, and it's meant to rain in the afternoon, so we need
Do you
to
know anything
get
about
a move on with
veves?
that.
What?
Veves. They're ritualistic patterns used in voodoo. You know, like those marks we found around the body.
You know what the department says about that, Knight? That voodoo stuff is faked.
Yeah, well, they're wrong. These veves...
Look, just stop worrying about those marks. I don't think they're relevant.
Have you ever heard of Damballa?
You mean gumbo?
No, I mean Damballa.
Never heard of it.
Can we ask him more about that, can we?
What else can you tell me about St. John's Eve?
I don't know much except what I already told you.
What do you know about black voodoo?
Black voodoo? Sounds like a put-on to me.
What can you tell me about Narlins?
Narlins.
You and me grew up here together. You tell me. It's a pretty nice place, even seeing the stuff I see, you know. The Carter's getting a bit too wild, though. Getting hard to control. Not quite what it was when you and me used to hang here, but... hell, I've never known anything else.
What can you tell me about...
Is that just going to be the same thing?
Ah, I'm too sentimental to say anything else about it.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
Lots? Can you be more specific?
Know anything about the victims?
The victims are all out-of-towners. We still don't know why.
Any witnesses?
Nope. There's never been a single witness. No one's even heard a disturbance. It's damned weird. Like they just don't want people to see. And so nobody sees nothing.
What's the coroner say?
The victim's heart is always ripped out of the chest and missing. We haven't located a single one of them.
Lovely. Any idea what they do with them?
Lovely.
Don't even want to know. Also, the coroner says some of the victims had heart attacks before the incision. Literally scared to death. The knife wounds are consistent with a long, narrow, wavy-edged knife. Probably a ritualistic dagger.
Baron.
Describe the crime scenes.
Well, there's the corpse itself, minus the heart. Around where the body was killed, we find marks and flour and blood. There are traces of wax from candles, red and black. Ordinary wax candles, so the lab reports. Also blood and feathers of chickens, and goat's blood. And plenty of the victim's own, of course.
What kind of evidence have you found?
No fingerprints, a few bare footprints. Found a few fibers, but not many. The weirdest one was leopard fur.
Leopard fur.
Wonder if we need to find anything about with a leopard. I can't remember having seen a leopard anywhere.
How many murders have there been so far?
7 murders have so far been linked to the Voodoo Murders case. The first murder occurred about 8 weeks ago. The MO is the same in each murder. Lake Pontchartrain was the 7th.
Do you know anything about the killers?
At least 20 people attend the killings. We know this from the variety of footprints found at the scenes.
Footprints. Aren't those as good as fingerprints?
Can be, But we'd have to have a suspect in custody first, and the suspect would have to match one of the few distinct prints we have. Most of the footprints are smudged, trodden over, unreadable. These guys are so casual in their expertise, it's maddening. Like they know we'll never find him.
Okay.
Oh, nothing. Never mind.
Sure, no problem.
So there's
Okay.
a group of them.
Anything else?
What's the status on the Voodoo murders case?
Sure as hell ain't going well. There sure are a lot of brakes being applied in different areas of the investigation. We're getting some real info on the victims now, and they're not exactly upstanding citizens. I was hoping to get more out of Crash, but he's scared shitless. We'll have to let him go tomorrow morning.
Who was Crash again?
What's the status on the Voodoo murders case?
You're as filled in as me.
Let's go put this file back on our desk.
I'll let you get back to it.
Later, Knight.
Where's my inventory again? Oh, where's the file? Have we not got the file anymore? I thought we would have had to put the file back because he keeps mentioning it.
She probably wouldn't cooperate.
But I wouldn't mind trying.
Officer Franks looks too miffed about that file incident to talk to
So she's not going
Gabriel.
to talk to us. Right. Um, we've been there, haven't we? What was there?
The sign on the front door of Magenta's
okay.
home reads, "Attuning with the spirit realm, back on June 22nd.
And we've got the Fuji Museum. I thought there was a leopard there.
Hello, Dr. John.
Glad you could return to us, Mr. Knight.
But I was obviously mistaken. We need to get this fan going to scare the snake.
That doesn't work that way.
Why doesn't that work that way? We've got clay for getting an imprint of a key or something, probably.
Perhaps Gabriel should learn more about the scale before showing it to anyone.
I've tried.
Gabriel is carrying a scale he found near the crime scene at Lake Pontchartrain.
Maybe we should put that back on.
That gourd must be in Assam. The
Wait.
pole is solidly connected to the floor.
Yeah. I just want to really look at
According
it.
to Hartridge, that pole in the center of the room is called a potomatan.
They were meant to try and get the snake into there for something. And
A striking portrait of a turbaned woman is on the back wall. Gabriel wonders who she might be. Given the man's size, that doesn't seem advisable.
Could I ask you some more questions?
Of course. I also find our dialogue stimulating.
What exactly is hoodoo?
Hoodoo refers to magic folk traditions of the South. Hoodoo is a bastard of voodoo. Many of the Gree are similar, but hoodoo does not have the religious aspects of voodoo.
Do you know anything about black voodoo?
That sort of viewpoint makes my work very difficult, Mr. Knight. If there are one or two ignorant believers, that is none of my concern, and I do not care to promote a Hollywood interpretation of voodoo by discussing it.
Are you sure you can't tell me anything about voodoo?
I've given you as much detail as I can, Mr. Knight. Look around the museum if you desire more information.
Tell me more about Marie Laveau.
When the widow Paris began to practice, there were many voodooians in the city.
the Voodooians.
1830, she was voodoo queen of all New Orleans. The widow Paris was a hairdresser for rich Creole ladies. She also paid household servants to spy for her. Between the two, she knew everything about everyone who mattered in New Orleans. She was not above using her information to appear psychic, to intimidate, or even to blackmail.
You sound as though you admire her.
For a black woman in the mid-1800s to gain power is an incredible thing, Mr. Knight. However she achieved it.
Tell me more about Marie Laveau.
She kept a pet snake, danced with it too. She held traditional voodoo ceremonies out by the lake. She took herself seriously, very seriously. But she was not above selling tickets for her events to curiosity seekers. She was not above using voodoo any way she could to make money. That is for certain. But if she had been in another line of work, in another age, that would have been interpreted as entrepreneurial genius, rather than a sign of fraudulence.
Hey, you don't need to convince me. I admire anyone that can actually make a living.
Very clever the way they've got his, like, because when he does that, he's got wrinkles on his forehead.
Tell me more about Marie Laveau.
It was Marie Laveau who defined the voodoo that is truly and uniquely the voodoo of New Orleans. She invented hundreds, if not thousands, of spells, potions, charms, and incantations. These form the basis of the modern practice, not to mention the folk tradition of hoodoo.
Tell me more about Marie Laveau.
Her daughter, Marie Glapion, took over when widow Paris got old. Most people thought it was the same Marie Laveau. Both Maries encouraged that point of view. The widow Paris died in 1881. Marie Glapion had been reigning a long
can we go and
time
see
by
her?
then. After the death of the widow Paris, other voodoo queens surfaced, and by 1890, the cult was fragmented again. Marie Glapion just sort of faded away.
Tell me more about Marie Laveau.
You have heard everything about Marie Laveau that a layman might expect to understand.
Okay, not going to tell us anything more.
You really don't know anything about black voodoo practices?
I believe I already indicated my intolerance for that line of inquiry.
Better not ask him anymore, eh? But,
Do you know anything about veves?
I believe they have something to do with Haitian voodoo, but that is not really my area.
Do you know anything else about veves?
I am afraid I have little else to say about that subject.
Do you know anything about animal masks?
I used to have some antique African totem masks, but they were on the point of disintegration, so I removed them.
does he still have them, though?
Are you sure you can't educate me further about animal masks?
Unfortunately, I do not know much about totem masks. The practice was more African than American, and that is not my area of expertise.
Okay, thanks.
We've got Baron today, he's in his basket. Having a looky out the window.
Is this snake yours? Do you use it in your practice of voodoo?
I admire the spirit of the snake, Mr. Knight. But snakes, like the museums, can be quite dangerous to handle.
You didn't really answer my question.
I think I did, Mr. Knight.
Are you sure you don't know anything about Ogun Badagri?
Quite sure, Mr. Knight.
Okay, we're just going to have to
Have you ever heard of
work our way through the
Damballa?
rest of these.
Of course, it is one of the Loa.
What can you tell me about the Loa Damballa?
Damballa is a snake Loa. It originated in Africa, and is also worshipped heavily in Haiti, I believe.
Do you worship Damballa?
Mr. Knight, in voodoo, all of the Loa are given their due respect.
What else can you tell me about the Loa Damballa?
I am afraid I have little else to say about that subject.
Do you know what Caprice and Call means?
Yeah, we've already looked that
I
up.
fear my French is not all it should be, Mr. Knight.
What can you tell me about St. John's Eve?
It is one of the important ceremonial nights in voodoo.
What else can you tell me about St. John's Eve?
I am afraid I do not know the origins of St. John's Eve. I only know that it was a night of ritual long before voodoo came to New Orleans.
What do you think of New Orleans?
It is the only city in the United States, as far as I am concerned.
What is it about New Orleans that you so admire?
It has a real culture of its own, Mr. Knight. Amid the horrid blandness that is Americana, New Orleans alone has a voice.
Spoken like a true New Orleanian. What do you know about the voodoo murders?
The killings in the newspaper. I know they have nothing to do with true voodoo in New Orleans.
What makes you think the voodoo murders aren't being done by local practitioners?
Voodoo is a popular boogeyman, Mr. Knight, especially in New Orleans. Anyone can pretend to use it, just as anyone can pretend to be a black belt in karate. And for the same reason, to intimidate. I know voodoo in this city, Mr. Knight, and believe me, it is not about killing. Even the police have stated that the killings have nothing to do with local voodoo.
So you know nothing about the voodoo murders case?
I neither know nor care to know, Mr. Knight. My only possible interest is in how it might affect the public's attitude towards the museum. So far, it has not been an issue. No one has even had the bad taste to bring it up. Until you, that is.
Tell me about yourself.
Me?
Yes, if you don't mind.
What is it you wish to learn?
Why did you open a voodoo museum?
The subject has fascinated me all my life. and I wanted to help preserve the cultural heritage it represents.
What kind of background in voodoo do you have?
Let us just say I cut my teeth on it, Mr. Knight. It is in my blood.
Do you do anything besides run the museum?
No, the museum does not make me a rich man. But my material needs are simple. I prefer to focus on my one true interest in life.
Which is the voodoo,
What
I
are your
guess.
own religious beliefs?
My beliefs are too personal and too complex to discuss with a layman, Mr. Knight.
Actually, I can't think of a thing.
No, I think we've
Then
exhausted
let
your
us discuss
conversation.
something else.
There's nothing else over here, is there?
The voodoo shrine is filled with items that both fascinate Gabriel and also make his skin crawl.
Can't really look at anything closely.
A waste of some perfectly good wine, if you ask me.
Gabriel can't see a way to use that.
Why not? I don't have anything I could break into there. A shiny torch on it or something?
That doesn't work that way.
No, it doesn't.
They lend a certain psychotic ambiance, no? Will that look sacrilegious? Wonder who that poor bastard was.
Let's go writing on it, look.
Gabriel can't see.
Yeah, I think we've done everything here. I can't really... I mean, I can flick the switch.
Gabriel has no interest in the noisy fan at the moment.
I'll
We
be
did,
going.
we did manage to do that once. He wasn't very helpful, was he?
The door to Hartridge's office is locked. There's a PA speaker on the wall.
Can you tell me anything about this?
No, I'm afraid I can't.
Well, you're just boring and unhelpful.
Can you tell me anything about this?
No, I'm afraid I can't.
Can you tell me anything more about this photograph?
No. I'm no coroner, and I can't tell much more about the voodoo end from that photograph.
Hartridge already said he doesn't recognize it.
Yeah, but I'd forgotten.
Can you tell me anything about this?
No, I'm afraid I can't.
Let's just talk to you.
Up for a few more questions?
Gee, I'd love to.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
You already sat through my lecture on the subject, Mr. Knight. Perhaps next time you could stay awake and learn something.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
I find it interesting to see the occasional fragment of voodoo practices in the everyday culture of New Orleans.
What else can you tell me about New Orleans?
The Catholic Church has always dominated in New Orleans, and its imagery, in turn, has dominated New Orleans voodoo.
What else can you tell me about New Orleans?
If there's more you wish to know, perhaps you should read my books.
Is that how they say New Orleans over there?
What was that translation for Caprice encore again?
It's French, and literally translates as goat without horns.
Yeah, the goat without horns. That was it.
What was that translation for Caprice encore again?
It's French, and literally translates as goat without horns.
Why is that not disappearing off the list?
Tell me about Damballa.
Damballa is one of the major Rada Loa, also known as Damballa Wado. He is an ancient Dahomian rain god, often represented as a large boa constrictor. Damballa is the most powerful and most violent of the Rada Loa. The Rada Loa are typically benevolent, as opposed, say, to the Patro Loa. He is still worshipped heavily in Haiti, and when voodoo first started in New Orleans, the early conclaves were reportedly based on the worship of the great zombie, the great serpent Damballa.
Boa Constructor is the Damballa.
Tell me more about Damballa.
I have extensive courses in the Loa running next semester. Perhaps you should take one of those, Mr. Knight.
Tell me more about Ogun Badagri.
He is a chief nasty, Mr. Knight. He is the spirit of war and destruction.
Could you be part of the inner circle?
I'd really like to know more about you.
There have been several articles written about me, Mr. Knight, as well as blurbs on my book jackets. If you want a biography, read.
Okay, we're not going to get anything else out of him, are we? So how do we get back in to see her? What do we need to do? I need to get Professor Hurst to talk to me. We've been trying that. Where do I get the reconstructed Reeve pattern? How can I get her to talk to us? That's the three things we need to do. We've tried showing him scales and that. We need to reconstruct. Where's it gone anyway? Oh, maybe I give it back to our helper.
Hey, Grace.
Grace.
Here I am.
Oh boy, party time.
That doesn't seem to work that way.
Let's see if she's found it yet.
Got a minute, Grace?
What's up?
Right, let's just work through.
What do you know about voodoo?
I didn't know much of anything about it until you started researching it for your book. Now I know that it's active in the city. There's that shop and museum. It can clearly be dangerous in the wrong hands. You should be careful investigating it.
What do you know about voodoo?
I've told you all I know. Sorry I can't be more help.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
You won't get far questioning me about it, Sherlock.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
I've only been here 2 months, but I love it. It's so much more alive than any place I've been. It feels like anything's possible here.
What else can you tell me about New Orleans?
You're the native. Don't ask me.
Do you know anything about snakes?
Doing a family tree, Gabriel?
Very funny. I mean real snakes, you know, scaly, cold-blooded. I
Good
would have
morning,
thought you'd
Noax.
find them empathetic.
Mm-hmm. I know very little about reptiles of any kind.
Yeah, it's
and
a
prefer to
point-and-click
keep that way.
adventure.
I
This is
think
a
there's
remake.
work on snakes around here somewhere, though.
Okay, thanks.
This is the remake on a 2006 game? I could be wrong with that year. How are you?
Fuck yeah, the earth spirit, the Deku tree.
Does the
Fuck,
name
man.
Ogun Badagri mean anything to you?
Ugh, no. Makes my skin crawl, though.
Yeah, I had heard of it. I'd never played it originally when it was out. Although we do actually have the original game. I noticed my partner's got it. Veru suggested I play this one next. So. You're doing good. The weather is amazing. That's good. Our weather is fine just now, which is why I'm not streaming too long this morning. Because it's meant to be raining in the afternoon, and we need to get a move on with this cart here while it's sunny. So I'm just waiting for my partner to get up and have some breakfast, then I will have my breakfast as well.
Have you ever heard of Damballa?
No, sorry.
What have you been up to today?
Do you
You've
know
been working?
anything about Veves?
Not a clue. Sorry.
Ritual patterns used in voodoo.
Fascinating. I can't help you out, though.
Do you know anything about black voodoo?
Black voodoo? Ugh, now what are you getting yourself into?
Nothing you need to know about, do you?
I know there are dark forms of any major religion. Where there's a yin, there's a yang.
Speaking of yin and yang...
But no, I don't know anything.
No, I've not had anything. I was
dark or otherwise, sorry.
running a bit late for starting the stream this morning, so... Oh, I can't get chased in the garden. So I haven't had yet. I'll have once I've finished this. Working and found out I spent too much money the last couple of months. Not a lot of money left in my main bank account. Not so good. But it's easily done though.
Are you sure you don't know anything about black voodoo?
You are desperate. I told you I can't help you.
My cat's trying to come in. Is she getting in? Should be Luna. Oh, you made it in. You're in there, yeah? Were you getting chased? I saw you getting chased. Who was chasing you? You don't know? Was it Misty? Was Misty chasing you?
Do you have messages for me?
I've given everything to you.
Everything.
Tell me about yourself, Grace.
What do you want to know?
Go on a date. No.
Nothing, I guess. Never mind. Could you do some research for me?
Sure, what?
That's right, she's already working on snakes or something. Right, she definitely mentioned there was a book on snakes, and there is a book on snakes because I've looked at it. See the world of snakes. So why can't I do that with that? It's not letting me. I can't do anything with this book. I thought maybe I'd be able to.
Gabriel is carrying a scale he found near the crime scene at Lake Pontchartrain.
I just can't do that, can I?
It's a book about the world of snakes.
So it's obviously just not the right time for doing that, is it? I wonder if there's anything on these books.
The books on the table have been chosen for their special appeal. Recent fiction by the biggies. In other words, nothing written by Gabriel.
There's a painting there. It's
Gee,
snakes.
snakes in a skull. Gabriel's father painted it.
What a wacky offbeat kind of guy Daddy was.
Can I look at that? Can I?
Times dated June 20th, 1993. Gabriel scans over an uninteresting front page.
Find out the hard way
Under
that
the
Japanese
cultural
banks don't
events
take money
section,
from your
there's a
account if you buy
notice
stuff
about a
online right
lecture
away.
on African religions. The lecture is at Tulane University. Gabriel's horoscope for the day. An evil eye is upon you. Change your course before it's too late.
Lighten up.
How long do they take? Do they take quite a while, do they? It's usually like, over here at least, it gets marked on your account as a pending payment straight away, but then it takes about 3 days before it actually comes out. I'm in my banking app practically every day, just to make sure I know how much we have. Can't look at these. I wonder if there's any books in the bedroom.
Several dozen books, including a few of Gabriel's novels, occupy the shelves above his desk.
Garbage bin, bills, rug. There's nothing really here.
Let sleeping lions lie. I got that cheap at a garage sale. Always had a thing for lions.
That's a weird way of working, isn't it? It must be very hard to keep track of things. I'm getting very stumped on this game. It's I don't know. He won't talk to me anymore. How do I get this reconstructed reef pattern? I thought we'd done that. Let's let him put his jacket on.
See you later.
See ya.
Head up here. Got those marks, and we've got the clay, which we've already taken. Can I use the clay? So I've just had a thought on these.
That doesn't work that way.
I thought we'd taken a sketch of this as well.
Gabriel's already done the best he could at copying those lines.
Did we show the professor the markings from the sketchbook? That's something. I maybe haven't done that. Okay, no lax. No worries. Let's show him my sketchbook.
Can you tell me anything about this?
No, I'm afraid I can't.
Oh. How do I look at the sketchbook? That's not exactly much in the sketchbook, is there?
Gabriel looks fondly at his father's sketchbook and charcoal pencil.
What's the brick for? Can I save?
Okay, thanks.
Good day, Mr. Knight.
Maybe I could put the priest outfit back on.
There's no reason to wear that at the moment.
Maybe I could throw the brick through the window. No.
It wouldn't be worth breaking into Malia's house.
Can I give her some roses?
Gabriel didn't come here to mess with the plants. These trees have been here for 100 years. They're not going anywhere.
She's so sarcastic.
The shutters are attached to the house.
Well, I fancy them in my house. Don't step on the lawn.
This is private property. Gabriel should stay near the front door till invited to do otherwise.
We're not going to get in.
May I help you?
Oh, it's you again.
It's you. Ms. Geddy is not at home. sir.
Yes, she is.
Can you tell me where she is? It's very important.
She's visiting her mother's
Ah.
grave, Mr. Knight. Something even you can't be tasteless enough.
Yes,
to
we're
want to
going.
interrupt.
We're going straight there. Let's go. I want to put this there. Good morning,
Does
Kaiser.
this mean anything to you?
How are you today?
Nope.
Nope. There she goes. What was she? No, don't run away.
Mr. Knight, what are you doing here?
My family's tomb is here.
Mine too.
Unnoticed. Subtle.
Well, Mr. Knight, if there's nothing else,
Don't go. I need to talk to you.
whatever for?
I can't stop thinking about you. I've been in your thoughts too. I can see it in your eyes.
Mr. Knight, you don't know anything about me. I'm not in a position to get involved.
I've said that a million times myself, but this is different. I think we both know we can't fight it. Oh, I can't believe I'm saying this.
I have so many obligations. My family is very traditional. You wouldn't understand.
Hey, I love tradition. I've seen Fiddler on the Roof 100 times.
This isn't a musical, Mr. Knight. We live in different worlds.
Look, I know you got more money than God. Do you think I care? Do you think that's why I'm saying this?
No, I don't.
Why don't you come see my world? I've got a little bookshop, St. George's on Bourbon.
I know.
See, I knew it. You're crazy about me too. Come by tonight.
Tell them to hold her still because her feet keep moving.
My world isn't so bad.
I'm sorry, but there's no place for someone like you in my life. Not now, not ever.
Come back to me. Don't run away.
Damn it.
Don't wiggle off. Maybe she forgot to lock the place up. You took your 2 doggos to get the yearly vaccination today, so it was surprisingly painless. It's nice when it goes that well, isn't it?
The plate is in lock position. There's a keyhole on the plate, but Gabriel can't operate that without a key.
I need a key. Key for the tomb.
Two heavy, solid marble doors provide an entrance to the tomb.
That's a lot of T words.
The doors are heavy and shut tight. An angel draped dramatically over a stone plinth marks the entrance to a large tomb.
Can I... I bet we need to find the key and make a copy of it using
That
this
doesn't
clay.
work on the plate.
Yeah, we need to find that key. Breeder of Chaos, thank you for the lurk. What's Malia Getty? Is she hiding around the corner? Is she watching me from around the corner?
Leans down to gaze at something unseen.
She's still here. She's spying on us. She's round the corner. Look, she moved. She's hovering. I'm gonna go over here. No, I don't want to do that.
Another ancient family tomb of the type St. Louis Cemetery is famous for.
Yeah, can we just go this way?
I don't need to go visit the family tomb today.
Why not? That's where she went. I don't feel like I'm advancing very far in
Mind
this
if I pick
game.
your brain a minute?
Go ahead. These folks ain't in no hurry.
Ooh, we can ask him lots.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
They say it was part of an old religion from Africa, brought here by slaves.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
I don't really care to talk about it. I don't do it none myself.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
Isn't it just awful, them finding those bodies with the voodoo things around them? I don't think there's any real voodoo going on. Somebody trying to cover their tracks is all.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
I told you all I know about that.
What can you tell me about Gnarlings?
Seem like everyone wants to visit Narlands at least once in their lives. And they love the cemetery tours. I see tourists in here every day of the year.
What can you tell me about Gnarlings?
There lots of things to see here, but none as beautiful as St. Louis Cemetery number 1.
Number 1.
What can you tell me about Gnarlings?
If you want to know more, you should ask someone else.
Do you know anything about snakes?
Yeah, they're long.
Snakes? I see snakes around here all the time. Most of them aren't poisonous, of course. I don't mind snakes myself, but lots of folks are afraid of them.
Do you know anything about snakes?
I told you all I know about that.
What's the significance of St. John's Eve?
Why, St. John the Baptist is the patron saint of voodoo. Sometimes we get weird goings-on in the cemetery on that night. More often on a few nights before. People taking grave dirt, bones, and who know what.
That's pretty disgusting.
Yep. Don't know what they do with them, but it can be pretty.
What's the significance of St. John's Eve?
I told you all I know about.
Yeah, I wish it would come off the menu with the list.
What else can you tell me about Marie Laveau?
Her tomb's on all our tours. Even the Baptists come round here to gawk. Of course, you may not know this, but some of the real serious voodoo types argue that she ain't in this one at all. Down in the unmarked tomb.